A spiritual awakening is a personal journey and will unfold in divine timing. And I know people want it now because we are in such a society where Hi friends, this is CG from the Galactic Soul, and I am coming to you with Spirit Dispatch. This episode, I feel like there's going to be a lot of questions around it, so definitely make sure that you list any of your questions in the comments below. That way I can answer them in a new video. But anybody who is new here, thank you so much and welcome for joining. I really do appreciate your love and support, so definitely make sure you subscribe and like this video. That way I can push out more content for y'all. But today we are going over the 6 stages of a spiritual awakening. This has been a long-awaited video. I meant to do this on my other channel, the Galactic Soul 444, but I just haven't gotten around to it. So today is the day because I really want to make sure that everyone understands that there isn't just, first of all, a timetable for a spiritual awakening. And second of all, it isn't just one specific thing. There are multiple things that happen during a spiritual awakening, and we can have multiple awakenings within our lifetime. There are many different things that go into our purpose and our plan on this planet when we come to Earth School, right? So I just really wanted to make sure that I lay all of this information out. I do have my notes, so if I am not looking at the camera, it's because I want to make sure that I have everything and I'm saying everything right. So let's get into it. So again, today we're going to go over the 6 stages of a spiritual awakening. If you want to know more about the basics of a spiritual awakening, I'll throw the link to the other spiritual awakening video on this channel. That way you can definitely take a look at that. But there are 6 stages within an actual spiritual awakening. And I am going to give you what those stages are, as well as practices and tips and tricks for really navigating each stage. Stage number 1 is the trigger. So this stage really begins with a life-altering event or a realization of questioning your life itself, purpose, existence. Overall, this really started happening. And again, this is absolutely insane, but it really started happening when I was in college and I was actually in a world civilization course. And as I was taking the course, I was learning all about the ancient civilizations on this planet, and it really triggered me into asking more questions, asking what their beliefs were and why they believed that, and so on and so forth. So that really did start my first spiritual awakening, especially the Mayans. So if you want to look up the Mayans and everything that they were dealing with, they are a failed ascension tribe, I guess you could say. But either way, that's another video. If you want to learn more about that, definitely put it in the comments below because I would love to do a video on the Mayans. But overall, you're going to have a trigger. Again, life-altering or just something that makes you realize or ask questions about life. So many practices you can do during this stage is research, but also a lot of people love to journal and take notes during this stage just because it is going to allow you to get your feelings down on a piece of paper as well as your questions. That way you can keep everything together regarding events in the past or current events if it is a life-altering event. Also, meditation can trigger. So you could be in a deep meditative trance, and then it could trigger you to become or trigger you to ask more questions because of the downloads you are receiving during a meditation. But this is going to prompt a lot of emotional things and a lot of clarity for things as well. So you might be asking a question and then receiving the answer. But either way, those two, like journaling and meditation, is really going to help you during this triggering stage because you really need to ground yourself during this stage. So either way, the tip that I have for this stage is allowing yourself to really feel these emotions and allowing it to flow through because there's going to be a lot of changes that are going to occur during this stage, and allowing these changes to flow and to come in is really going to help for you to get to the next stage. Stage number 2 is really when you dive deep. So I'm going to call it the search because the research that you do during this stage, you are going to be enlightened as well. So Christina Lopes, I don't know if you've heard of her, but she is another fantastic YouTube podcaster, spiritual advisor. Absolutely incredible. This is the second video that I'm saying her, but either way, but she calls it the bliss stage because you are just so freaking excited. You're excited to start this journey. You're excited to ask all of these questions, to research, and it's very much like seeking knowledge and understanding about spirituality, the universe, many teachings, practices, learning about ascended masters. You're probably in that stage right now if you found this video, because it just makes sense. So either way, so it's the search, you're researching, you're watching all of those weird shows. For example, when I was in my first awakening, I was really diving deep in Ancient Aliens and all of those kinds of shows, because it really was information that isn't really talked about. And so you go through this research phase of going on a deep dive on either social media or any kind of resources that we have. So during the stage, obviously, reading is going to help you a lot. So we want to read as many different books or articles, TV shows, anything, because you're going to realize that not everything is facts. So you need to use your discernment and really see what makes sense to you and really understand you're going through this awakening process. You can read, listen to podcasts, anything like that is really going to help you during the stage. And also attending seminars and workshops. This is really going to be that hands-on experience that your soul, especially during your first spiritual awakening, you're going to need, because you're going to need that support from everyone else to know that you're not crazy. You're not going crazy. I promise you're not going crazy. So reading, attending seminars, definitely the two practices that you should be doing during the stage. And then my number one tip during the stage is keeping an open mind and just taking it all in. You don't really want to make your final decision, whether that's fact, whether that's false. It really is about you finding the teachings that work for you, that resonate with you. And taking that time is okay. It's okay to take that time. And this stage is really going to be the longest, I believe, during all stages, because you're going to keep going until you get to a point where you enter the third stage. So the third stage is Dark Night of the Soul. This is your awakening process. This is the biggest stage that you're going to have to go through. And this is when you start realizing that many different things in your life has been a lie. And this is when you grieve and let go of that past self. Whatever you are getting rid of during this specific spiritual awakening, this is when you do the nasty work. So this is the period where you realize that you want to change. You want to make that change and you want to move forward. And you want to leave your old self behind. So you are going to experience a lot of consciousness shifts. You are going to become more aware. Your awareness is going to be heightened. And you are going to form a connection to the universe and see a bigger picture. You're going to start realizing that overall, there is a bigger fight that we as light workers are fighting. We are mid-battle right now. So this is going to be the hardest stage. I remember my first Dark Night of the Soul. It did last quite a while, because you're not only unlearning your old self, you're also grieving and accepting past life energy as well. Maybe not your first spiritual awakening, but at some point during your awakening process and your ascension process, there's going to be certain spiritual awakenings where it's going to be super, super deep emotions that aren't even yours, or you feel like they aren't yours. So during this stage, obviously meditation is going to be your best friend, and really being mindful that not everyone is going through what you are going through right now. So you need to give yourself grace and allow these emotions to come up and come through, because you might one day wake up with a lot of anger and you might push it out on somebody else, but really you're just trying to work through that emotion. So you need to, mindful that you are not pushing the emotions that you are going through, processing, onto others. And that's going to be some of the hard stuff. Also, grounding is going to help you a lot. So definitely get outside, touch a tree, touch the grass, sit on the ground, literally skin to crust, like Earth's crust contact. A lot of people get grounding mats or grounding sheets to help them through this process, because we want to level with the frequency of the earth in order to calm us down through these different aspects of this stage, because there's going to be a lot of emotions and a lot of anxiety because you're going through all of these emotions. So grounding with the earth is really going to help. My number one tip for this stage is really embracing every single emotion that you run into, whether that is happiness and joy and comfort and bliss. But also you want to be prepared for confusion and fear and anxiety and sadness, because you're going to hit a point where you're going to be sad that everything that you knew is not going to work for you anymore. So that is Dark Night of the Soul. Stage 4 is integration. So you're going to take everything you learned from stage 2 and stage 3. And you're really going to integrate it into your daily life. So you begin to incorporate these insights into your daily life, and this can sometimes lead to internal conflict. So you're like, oh, society wants me to do this, but that is not my truth. So you're going to go through that stage where you're just not 100% sure what the right answer is, because you're trying to please others still, but you're also trying to please yourself. So this is the integration process. And again, this could take a little while for you to get used to, and also use your discernment. What is most important to you? And I know it's not easy. It sucks. It's absolutely terrible, because you need to put yourself first. And we have learned through many different religions and processes that we're supposed to serve others, right? But you can't serve others unless you serve yourself. So there's going to be a lot of self-reflection within this stage. And you need to practice every single day to understand your beliefs and your boundaries and what you should say no to and what you should say yes to, because every single decision that you make is either going to align you with your higher self or align you into your 3D self. So the more that you choose your 3D self, the harder it's going to ascend. So we want to make sure that we reflect on what we're going through and make the best choice for you. During the stage, you also want to have a daily practice, a daily routine, whether that is you starting your day with yoga or starting your day with a meditation or ending your day with those things. It's really having that time to yourself in order to ground and realize, like, okay, why am I here? And really reflect on the purpose that you have. Especially in the morning, I would really suggest you do it in the morning. Start with meditation or yoga, or just 5 minutes of just you being quiet and really listing things that you are grateful for. Because if you start on a positive note, you are going to make decisions that is best for you during the day. It's really going to hold you accountable during the day if you start your day off with a meditation, with being grateful, naming and sending love to the people that aren't really your besties right now, right? So starting your day off with that is really going to help during the stage. My tip for this stage is really surrounding yourself with like-minded people. So you want to befriend people who understand the journey that you're going on. And you want them to provide encouragement, because again, it's not easy getting rid of your old self and moving into your new self. It's not easy. And I'm not saying that it's not all love and light, but getting people and being friends with people that understand what you're going through is really going to be helpful, because you need that support to keep going. So that was stage 4, the integration. Stage 5 is the true transformation. And this is when you truly let go of your old routines, your old patterns, your old self, and you start truly living in the new beliefs, your new habits, and you have a sense of rebirth. And this is when everything stabilizes. And this is a beautiful, beautiful stage, because you are really working for you. You're working for you. And this, I just can't stop smiling, because my guides are like, it's happening. This is it. This is everything that you did all of this work for in the last 4 stages. This is it. And you really start living your truth, and you start talking your truth, and doing this allows the energy within your body, within your chakras, to really align. You are truly aligned in this phase, and you have come to terms with letting go of your old self, with letting go of old relationships, and you are taking a turn for the better, for inner peace. So practices you can do during this stage would definitely be energy clearing, because we want to make sure that all of the energy that we have taken on until this point in our life is cleared, because we don't want to have anything that is going to make us go back to that life, because we are comfortable there, right? But growth is the uncomfortable. We want to keep growing, right? So we want to make sure that we get rid of the old energies. So this could be Reiki, this could be any kind of energy healing, chakra balancing. I personally just like Florida water, sage water, spraying that in the air and really just allowing the energy from the particles of that water to really go through your system, clear the energy of every single cell. And literally just saying, I cleanse my body of all negative energies and entities that may have attached to me. I call back my energy. Anything like that is really going to help during this stage. And also this stage is when you start being creative. It's when you start being creative, like God and source and universe. This is when you inhabit that energy of creator. That is when you start. So really start being creative. And I always say to my clients, when you start acting like you were in high school again, so when you start making art again, you start making music again, you start writing again, like anything, one of those hobbies that you did in high school that you don't have time for anymore, that's what you should be doing. That's how you should be expressing yourself. So definitely lean into how and what you did in high school and be like, I used to do this all the time. For example, I used to play guitar and accompany myself and sing all the time. And I stopped doing that because I just didn't have time for it. And I leaned into it. I also started making videos again because I am leaning into that creative energy again. It will make you happy. I promise. I promise. But during this stage, the tip for it is really be patient with yourself, because you are going to have some thoughts about your old self, and you're going to be choosing whether you want to bring those specific things into your new life, into your new being. So it's going to take time. It's going to be a process. And remember, it's not a race. It is you versus you. There is no other person that should be really part of this process at all, because this is you who is doing the work. So that is the transformation, stage 5. As for stage 6, yay, we made it. As for stage 6, this is the expansion. This is when you start fulfilling your mission and your purpose and really taking it to a whole nother level. You really begin to feel more profound and a sense of clarity and connection with all others. And it's not even just other humans. It's like other beings, other living organisms on this planet and in the universe. This portion, or this stage, you really might feel a calling to share your insights, to help others on their journey, becoming a mentor, becoming a coach. And again, this might not happen the first time that you have a spiritual awakening, because we go through many during your lifetime, right? And this portion, it's just helping others realize that there's more, or being there for somebody who needs to just talk to somebody about their, whether it's their life or their spiritual awakening, it doesn't really matter. You just have a newfound compassion towards others and understanding that everyone is going through something, and it just gets more and more, you get more and more compassionate and empathetic, and you allow others, and you give off that energy to allow others to come to you for some guidance. So during this time, the best practices is volunteering and mentoring. But volunteering, like that could be with your friend group. You could be your friends. I don't want to say therapist, because that's not your job either, but you know what I'm saying. Give advice, and they'll come to you and they'll say, hey, I saw this. Do you know anything about it? And really just giving them sources and resources to use in order to get through their life. So offer your time and your knowledge to others. And also during this phase, you're going to continuously learn. You're going to learn and stay curious and explore different avenues having to do with spiritual practices and healing. And it's just going to be an ongoing stage 2, the search, where you just keep researching and you just keep learning in order to help yourself and others. So the tip for this stage is really maintaining a sense of gratitude. You want to maintain a sense of gratitude every single day. You want to thank the universe, source, God for something, because this is going to help you recognize that your journey, it's not over. It is ongoing. It's going to keep going. So that is stage 6, the expansion and finding your mission. Now I just want to go over a few other tips that you could use during all stages of your spiritual awakening. Any stage, ground. Just ground. Get outside. Talk to nature. Literally close your eyes. And when I say ground, I don't mean just to put your feet on the ground and call it. I want you to close your eyes and connect to the grass. Connect to the tree that is blowing in the wind. Connect to the wind. Connect to the water that you hear. Connect to the birds that you hear. I want you to really open up your senses other than your eyes. And once you do it, you're like, oh, that's what you meant. Yes, that's what I meant. And that's what I mean when I go ground. Get out into nature. Practice self-care. Oh my gosh, so many people do not want to care about themselves. Self-care is huge. You want to prioritize your mental clarity, your emotional clarity, and your physical well-being. You want to condition. You want to sleep, eat more healthy. You want to dance. You want to take breaks when you need to. Set your own boundaries and make sure that you are caring for yourself. Because if your glass is empty, you have none to give. Please keep your glass full. It's going to help. Seek support when you need it. Don't be scared. I am a spiritual teacher, spiritual guide, a coach. If you need help, I am here for you. Definitely click the link in the description for a one-on-one with me. If you just want to see what I'm all about, I also have coaching calls, so just send me an email and I will definitely help you out. But you really want to seek support in people that know what you're talking about, and people who are not going to call you crazy, because you aren't, okay? Also, another tip is being patient. You want to be patient. You need to learn that a spiritual awakening is a personal journey and will unfold in divine timing. And I know people want it now because we are in such a society where instant gratification is where it's at, but this is years and millions of years old, where we did not get text messages. We did not have emails. So we need to be patient and allow everything to divinely unfold as it's supposed to. That's going to be the hardest part. So be mindful, be gentle to yourself when you're going through this process. So that is the 6 stages of a spiritual awakening. I really hope this helped. Navigating through these stages can be super challenging, but with these steps and being aware of these steps and stages and practices and tips, your new self is going to emerge with such clarity and purpose. But if you have any questions, definitely put them in the comments below. I am here for you and I'm sending you so much light, but always remember to be yourself.